Anyway, good, happy Saturday morning, everybody. It's Reed Booth, Killer Bee Guy. We got Hosh over here. We're sitting side by side and with a little fireside chat for you guys. And we have Westward behind the camera. Say hi, Westward.
Hi.
Okay, that's. She said today she doesn't feel like being on camera, so whatever. Anyway.
It's a bad hair day.
There you go. Bad hair. Yeah, bad hair, my ass. Okay, anyway. So anyway, we're talking about killer bees, everybody. Welcome to the hive. We're gonna talk now. We're getting into winter. I mean, it froze last night here. Now it did. You said it didn't at your place. Hosh lives at about 1,000 feet lower elevation than here at the ranch, and
next level down in heaven.
Yeah, next level's hell. Right, exactly. He's in purgatory. That's just south here. East of Elfrida. Hellfrida is purgatory. Yeah, south. Okay, anyway. But I know it was frost on the pumpkin here this morning. And so that has not really affected the bees. As you guys know, we've been live streaming. We've been wasp hunting. I mean, it's just the bees have been happening. We have to go back to Portal next week. So come on along with us on that. We're hoping we'll get some reception and live stream that. We will definitely do a live stream. Probably at the firehouse with that, and we have to do a public service announcement thing. We're going to actually have the whole town of Portal, Rodeo, that whole valley out there. We're going to be putting on a killer bee lecture, telling everyone what's going on about these things. We're going to be doing it at the firehouse there in Portal, and this is at the request of the fire department up there.
And what was that etymologist's name? The firefighter, she's an
Michelle.
etymologist.
Yeah, Michelle. And she is an entomologist. She's a firefighter up there in Portal, and it'll be wonderful to have her on with a live stream for this presentation that we're going to give, because everybody up there has bees. It's just ridiculous. Even though it's extremely rural, one of the most beautiful areas in the country, if not the world, and it's the entrance portal, which means door, entrance to Cave Creek. And so we're going to be going up there next week. So it isn't over, and of course, I've had winters where we had bee removals all winter. Now this will be Hosh's first winter with us here and doing this with me, and we're just we're on call. We don't know what the hell's going on. And like I said, Westward is behind the scenes on the camera, going to be answering or throwing comments at us and questions. What have we got going on? Anything before I get into it?
Someone's questioning she's an ophthalmologist? Question mark.
Ophthalmologist?
No, entomologist.
Eyeballs?
Michelle. And is an
entomologist.
And a firefighter.
And a firefighter. And probably some other stuff. So entomologist, so bugs, insects and whatnot. Very cool, because it'll be good to have that academic side in on the, because we're basically boots on the ground, right? I mean, or where
I got one boot.
One boot's on the ground. Okay, we're still boots on the ground. You're both right legs, as a matter of fact. Okay, so yeah, we're not even in the bee suits and we're goofy. You guys got to see the TikToks that Hosh has been putting up recently. It's fucking funnier than hell. Tumble down bees.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God, you guys got to see it. And just this morning, we had one go live on YouTube. It was our huge job that we live stream up in Tombstone, and it was at the Longhorn Cafe. So I couldn't resist. I called it Longhorn Short Stinger. So that's what we called it, and it's really good. I mean, it's the standard thing. You guys have heard me say it 100 times. We'll have the caution tape up, the police tape up, have the bee suits on, have the marshal out, fire department, and someone will walk under the tape and go, "What are you doing? Hey, dirt, you dirt." Drives me nuts.
Yeah, it's hard for people not to rubberneck. It's
Yeah.
hard for me not to. You got it when you see the car flipped on the side of the highway, you automatically slow down.
Yeah,
and do that. But
especially I
the thing to do
get
is
bee
actually,
suits. I don't know, what is it?
You gotta move on.
Natural
Yeah,
attractant.
the bee
Bee
suit?
suits, yeah. I mean, bee suit in a fire truck.
Yeah.
A couple of handsome guys, if we were to find any. What? Anyway, I almost came out of his nose. Anyway, so what we're going to be talking about and what I've been getting to is, even though it's cold out and winter is here, okay, you guys are going to hate me. It's going to be 65 degrees or something here today. But it's been freezing at night, so oh darn, that's why we live here, okay? We're going to be doing some bee hunting. We're going to be hunting for hives. Yeah, fun stuff. Because, like I always say, there are hives everywhere out here. And an example is, we were on a pecan job. You put that one up, didn't you? The pecan orchard job? What did you call that one? Kentucky Killer?
No. Pecan praline.
Pecan praline. That's Pray. Get it? pray. Okay, anyway. And so that one's up on TikTok right now. But on the way back from that, I looked off to the side of the road, and we're bumfuck out there as usual. And there's this old fallen down house, just a POS house, right? Which is technical. That the POS, that's Latin for piece of shit. So anyway, and I thought, well, let's pull over, and we had our suits on anyway, right? And I thought, you know what? Let's just go hunting, because Hosh has never seen just come upon a hive like this, so you're getting a handle what happened. And so I thought, winter, it'll slow down a little bit either way. And so we got to the front of this, the front door. Well, there was no door or no windows. It was just the ceilings falling in, floors. When you're in old buildings like that, you got to be really careful on the floors, because you fall through the damn thing, go down 3 feet, break a leg or something. And so we're standing there, here comes a bee, right to Hosh.
Yeah.
And so he flips on his net right away. And I said, like I've said all these years, where there's smoke, there's fire. So we got to looking around, we're poking around, and we go in there, and it's just a trash, and oh my God, just horrible, rat's nests and all this shit, walls falling down. And after about 10 or 15 minutes, 20 minutes, sure as shit, here we find bees going in behind a wall by some old plumbing. I was like, whoa, smoke, there's fire, throw on the net. And we got to looking, and there's a huge hive. And we didn't tear it up yet. We're saving it for you guys. So we didn't tear it up, but boy, are we excited to do that, because the propolis in this thing was that wide, where the wall had come out from a 2x4, and they seal up the holes. The propolis is they use, because if the hole's too big, it's hard for them to defend the hive. And the Africanized bees are much more aggressive about this type of shit. Old, I don't know, 2.5, 3 feet of propolis in a crack. I haven't seen that much propolis in years. And so we didn't disturb it, like I said, because, I got to find out who owns the place first. And if it's owned by somebody back in Pennsylvania, then who gives a shit, we'll go ahead and do it.
The propolis was like webbing over top of that crack.
Yeah, it was like webbing, yeah.
It was amazing.
Yeah, all they did was seal the holes so that it was easier to defend the hive.
Amazing.
Yeah, so that's going to be a real treasure. And we do want to do this bee hunting earlier in the winter, because now is when we get honey. All right. Where they store the honey and the pollen is their pantry. Of course, they are the ultimate survivalists. And so they, all winter long, they're eating on it. They're eating, that's what that's for, is to tide them over until the spring flowers come out, and they can start over and do it again. And so this time of year, we can get a shitload of honey. And in the spring, very rarely any, unless it's a really old hive.
But that one we did in March in Sunny Zona, Exotic Birds,
Yeah,
was loaded.
was loaded. An old hive, there you go. Yeah.
So how did they do that?
Yeah. Well, what they do, and as beekeepers,
It was nothing but honey.
it was astounding. In fact, there was not even any brood really.
I think there were
and now we're
three
finding
babies.
brood in this time of
Yeah,
year, which
right.
is totally unusual.
Makes sense,
You
yeah.
know, but especially with Africanized bees, which that's all we have, Africanized bees, and we'll talk more about that. They're in all the lower 48 states. They're in Canada, are a pain in the ass, but they make up to twice as much honey. And so even as beekeepers, what we would do, even with European bees, we take the excess honey. They make more than they need, or they're supposed to anyway. Africanized bees definitely do. So when you have a decades-old hive, they have made more each year. And that was why last spring, when we got into that hive up at Exotic Birds, you got to go to YouTube and see that. It's a 3-part series. It was really amazing. There were 2 huge hives in that shed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 2. It was just ridiculous. And
Oh yeah, inside. That's right.
Inside.
This is the place where you got the airplane.
They were got the airplane. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
But
Yeah,
inside.
yeah,
and
you got to see
outside.
that. Exotic Birds and Bees Don't Mix. It's really, really
Yeah.
awesome job actually. But that's why there was so damn much comb in there, was because they've been saving it up all those years.
Years of
Mhm.
honey.
And of course, it never ever goes back.
Right.
All right, and so when then we'll talk about. So that's one way that we hunt bees, hunt wild hives in the winter, because after you spend all summer in the bee suit, going to war, going to battle, kind of get used to it,
Yeah, yeah.
and you
Oh, no,
kind
it's addictive.
of want to do a
It's
little bit
totally
more,
addictive.
It's
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
working around here at the ranch is a lot of fun and everything, but no, let's go find some bees.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
So, and we're going to be bringing Westward with us, and Perry also when she gets back. Perry's going to be moving back, so we're going to have a nice crew.
Nice.
And so, has anybody got any questions for us?
No questions. Just lots of likes and loves and some
Aw.
comments. Apparently, you look like Keanu Reeves, Hosh.
I told you.
You
And,
still do?
And you look like Ted Nugent, so that's a nice
Jesus.
pair.
Yeah, no, and Ted.
Good God. Oh my God, the nudes. Actually, I get that for years. I really have.
Yeah.
At least nobody said I look like Beetlejuice yet, but it's still early.
Not yet, right?
I mean, it's still early. So Hosh has been with me for 9 months now, right?
Yeah, March we started.
Yeah, March, 1st of March. Yeah, he came to me like a fool and said, but once the stinger's in, right? And even Westward, she came on a couple of jobs with us, and total trooper about the whole thing. Even got stung up in the hands and whatnot, and still is going to do it again. But that's what happens. It gets your adrenaline going. It makes you alive because you have to be. It's either that or dead.
That is what it is, right? You have to be.
You have to be.
Yeah, the rush. There's this rush. It's completely. It doesn't translate.
And it's different than just a straight adrenaline rush. It's totally different.
And it doesn't translate into across the camera. There's just no way to capture it.
Even when you're with us in the soup, right?
It doesn't.
It doesn't like Portal to Hell or Worst Bees Ever or Bring Up the Clowns or Portal. Portal to Hell was awesome.
Yeah.
And then the ones in the culvert.
When the bees come out and they come out big, like in Portal to Hell or Send in the Clowns or anything like that, part of it is the wind from the wings.
Oh, we actually really rarely discuss that because we've got so much other shit going on.
There's smell going on.
You can smell the venom, of course, but when they're on your net or even flying by, our nets are so close to our face, you can feel the wind from their wings. And so you get all these cross winds coming from all the different angles, and they're all trying to kill you. They're not just flying by.
You're like inside this ghost.
Yeah.
Inside this dark ghost.
Yeah, and it's amorphous, and yet it's totally real, and it's got a million fucking parts.
Yeah.
And they're all trying to kill you.
Oh yeah, no, there's nothing better.
Yeah, nothing better. See, the therapy didn't work, obviously. But of course, Westward's here, and Perry wants to come back. She can't wait to get back in the bee suit. So yeah, it's it is. It's totally addictive. And then you start pulling out the honey, and and then bring you guys along and start talking to you guys while we're in the field and educating everybody about these damned Africanized bees. We love it. Absolutely love it. It's totally fun. Yeah.
Somebody's asking if there's a way to work with Africanized bees to produce honey.
To keep them, oh man, well, now they do in Latin America. The Latin Americans have not acquiesced exactly, but especially the big guys, all right, the professionals that have 10,000 hives or something and haul them around for pollination, they raise their own queens in-house. They raise their own bees in-house. They know what their strains are. Even if all of their hives are Africanized, these are the big boys, just like every Rottweiler is not the same temperament as every other Rottweiler or Chihuahua or person or beehive. They all have different temperaments. The problem with the Africanized bees is you don't know from 1 second to the next what the hell they're going to do. So if you've got with the big guys, if they have Africanized hives and they're not too pissy, they're not too hot, well, let them do their job, And you're not like keeping them. You're taking them out to orchards and fields for pollination. So they're not like in an urban area. They're not like in an apartment area. This is what we do not recommend with small beekeepers, is keeping bees in an area anymore where you have neighbors and shit, because they will become Africanized, and it's a pain in the ass. So the big guys, if the hive gets hot, well then kill it, and they're just farm animals. That's all they are. That's all they are. So the big guys, yes, especially in Latin America, everybody has just simply they're all Africanized. It's what it is. You can still breed European queens, of course. You can requeen your nasty hives, and they'll be nice then. The problem with the small beekeeper is, as a hobbyist, it's next to impossible to keep your nice bees from becoming Africanized. And we've seen this right here in town, right up the gulch. Bees gone bad.
Must see TV.
Must see.
Yeah.
Bees gone
Check
bad.
out the playlist.
Check out the playlist.
Go to,
Bees Gone
go to
Bad.
the profile
Right.
on TikTok and check out the playlist.
Yep.
And on YouTube, what's it called?
It didn't get up on YouTube because it was only in the
Oh,
in
that's
TikTok
right.
format.
That's right. So
It was only in the
on-
TikTok format. So if you want to see, you have to see it on TikTok. But it was an alarming, because when we got there, we found out about it. We happened to be right downtown when the emergency happened, and we were in the parking lot down there at the post office, actually, in the fire truck. We just got done doing something else.
It was interviewing Randy.
Oh, Randy Archuleta, the guy that got stung 300 times doing some landscaping. There was an old hot water heater laying out in somebody's yard. Almost killed him. It's a great interview. You got to see that. That's up on TikTok.
We have
also.
the interview up on TikTok in like 5 parts, and we also have the footage of us taking out the hive that stung him up. It's
Right.
called Bees in Hot Water.
Yeah, Bees in Hot Water.
So check out those
That was
playlists. on
Randy
TikTok.
Archuleta, yep. So we did the interview with him because we had Channel 9 down from Tucson, wasn't it?
Wow, that's right. We
Yeah.
did the sheriff shed that morning.
Did the sheriff shed that morning,
Interviewed him in the afternoon, and then got this
and
call.
then got this emergency call. We can stay busy in the summer, obviously. And so we're sitting in the parking lot thinking, end of the day. Thank God, you know. No, here we hear the sirens go by, and they go up the gulch, which is the name of a street here in Bisbee, and it used to be, when this was a mining community, used to be where all the bars and whorehouses were. It was a mining community. And so this gal had one hive. Now this is how it's so difficult to keep your hive from becoming Africanized. She had a hive, and she was a 3rd generation beekeeper. Hosh can't be. He laughs all the time now when he realizes how actually foolish people are. It's negligence for keeping bees anymore, because they will become Africanized, especially in this neck of the woods. And now it's happening all over the country. People in Illinois, beekeepers in Illinois, these Africanized bees are wreaking havoc.
Well, I was thinking about and I don't know how far I want to go into this, but I was thinking about the dinner party I was at with her
Oh yeah.
shortly after I came to town.
You came to work, right? And so he's quite novice at that point about it. And of course he's in shock about what I have to say about European bees, Africanized bees, and about how European bees are invasive to the Western Hemisphere. They don't even belong here, and all the romance about honeybees is bullshit. And so he's at a dinner party with this beekeeper, and
Right,
boy, was
right.
he ostracized from the hippie community.
Well, she had what we naively brought. My partner and I naively brought some honeycomb that I had scored on one of the jobs
Yeah.
to share with the guests at this dinner party, and she was there, and she was nice enough. We spent all evening together, and then we brought out some of this honeycomb to share with the group, and she says, "Where did you get this?" And we start talking
'Cause
about
I'm
Reed,
Satan.
and she starts bad-mouthing Reed at this dinner party, and I'm new to the community, I don't know, and I'm like, oh God, this is a little embarrassing.
I have to shave my horns every morning.
And she said he's a fearmonger. She said he's a fearmonger, and this, and all this kind of stuff, and it's not true about Africanization.
Oh my God.
And months later,
Her
hive gets Africanized and stings up the town, and 2 people get sent to the hospital.
Yep, 13 people stuck.
And get this, Reed was away taking care of, again, somebody. He and I split up, and I'm walking down the gulch as her bees are stinging people up, and while her bees are sending people to the hospital, she's still telling me that he's a fearmonger.
It's just astounding to me, and I understand the romance with honeybees. Absolutely. I was there. I was the biggest bee hugger in the world in the late 80s, early 90s when I started keeping bees.
Were they the big plush bees, like the kinds you find under an umbrella?
Under the umbrella, yeah, the big stuffed furry ones. Jesus Christ.
And you were hugging it?
It's amazing. The romance around bees is just bullshit. It's astounding to me. And now I do understand it. They're insects. They can sting. European bees I'm talking about. They're insects. They can sting us, but they don't, because they're European bees and we love them. And they give us honey. And then the big lie, we need them to live. Bullshit. We do not need honeybees to live. People lived in the Western Hemisphere for eons without them. It's just bullshit. But it's nice to be Satan in such a small town.
But the monocropping, the big the big monoculture.
They are necessary for that.
For that.
They are
And then
necessary for
the
that.
question is, one of the things I find interesting is people say, oh, you know, honeybees are not bad for the environment, right? Et cetera, et cetera. But monoculture, monocropping is definitely bad for the
Horrible.
environment, and monocropping is propped up by honeybees.
Of course. Well, a lot of the crops
So-
that wouldn't survive without pollination from honeybees, because you know, in monocropping, there's
Right.
no doubt about it.
Right.
An entire grove of one type of plant, like almonds, have to be pollinated by honeybees to
Right.
produce a crop.
Right.
Just the way it is.
But monocropping, like, that's terrible for the environment.
Exactly.
And so don't tell
So
me
we
honeybees
basically
are-
need honeybees for three things, and only three things, because we don't, our native plants here in the Western Hemisphere, not just in the desert Southwest, anywhere in the Western Hemisphere, because honeybees did not exist here before, they're called European honeybees. They're not called Midwestern honeybees, they're called European honeybees. So, you know there were no honeybees in Arizona until 1872. Did you know that, Westward?
You told me that recently.
Yeah.
But other than that, I had no idea.
1872.
Mhm.
That was the first recorded of honeybees in Arizona.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody commented the other day, no, they're not invasive, they're just not native.
It's redundant.
Yeah, I don't care.
Semantics, I know.
Yeah, you know, so
So,
big ag.
so we need them for
Big ag
honey.
is
We
a
like
problem.
honey. Yeah, we love honey. Okay, we need them for honey. We need them to pollinate our fruit trees and gardens. Not native. Our native plants don't need them for pollination. They do need our native pollinators. And big ag, big agriculture. That's just the way it is. That's what they're needed for. It's money. It's a cash crop. That's all. It's the ultimate form of colonization.
So where's this, you know, we were talking about this the other day, but maybe you'd share some insights. The save the bees trope.
Right.
Like, how, it's not useful. How do you save the bees? Number one. Like, what are you going to do? It's like save the whales.
Yeah, you can save the whales.
What do you, good
how are
luck.
you gonna?
Go
You know
for
what?
it.
I'm cutting way back on whale blubber. That's for sure. I'm not.
But
I
see-
used to smear it all over my body. I mean,
But where does that come from? What's the
right,
point?
right. And I think it's humans' attempt to massage, and you know, our born guilt complex or something. I mean, it's just like, am I
Like the
guilty
foot-
of the whales dying, or the bees, or anything else?
Yeah. Well,
So
I
that
know
ma-
it's your fault about the whales.
Oh, see, well, that's well known. I mean, that's just, you know, I've owned up to it a long time ago. You just do what you gotta. There's got to be some comments about all this shit, huh?
Yeah, well, somebody asked earlier if eating honey a little bit every day cures allergies. They mentioned up to a 60-mile radius.
Oh, what?
60-mile radius.
Well, okay.
Local honey?
You know, eat your local honey. You've heard that, right? You eat honey from your local area and all that stuff. Now, honey, of course, people that eat honey not only find relief from allergies, okay, or their pollen or honey, but personally, I think it has to do with your entire immune system. Because honey is so good for you, it has all the vitamins, minerals, amino acids that you need, your cells need to live. And so the healthier you are, I don't know of any scientific studies myself, there may be, where showing that honey actually reduces the impact of allergies on the person. I know that upping your immune system can save you from a lot of shit, right? Right? And so, now this whole thing about your local honey, buy your local honey, I think that is a cheap marketing attempt by agoraphobic beekeepers. Because most beekeepers back in the day, of course, were the suspender crowd, you know, and that's all fine and dandy.
That's their song.
That's
They
the
sing
theme.
that
Well, that's the
while
theme
they're
song.
taking care
Yeah.
of the bees.
Well, and when you have your meetings, they all hold hands. It's the theme song. They don't have meetings because they're so damned agoraphobic they won't even
and
get
yours
together.
is, and your theme song is
Here they come to save the
blah 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 blah.
oh, blah blah blah. I know all the words. Here they come, blah 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 blah. Whatever. Anyway, so you know, and beekeepers were so agoraphobic that they wouldn't even man their own honey stands out by the road. Remember those stands back in the day? You know, take the honey, leave the money. They're fuck, really? You know, but. And the reason I say this is, and yes, buy your local honey, absolutely. Buy honey from your local bee guy, your old agoraphobic fart, whatever. But I have fans in all over the world that buy our honey and pollen for their allergies there.
It still works.
It still works.
It still works.
I have friends all over the country
And
that
Viking-
used to have to get
Viking
shot.
works
Well, the Viking honey, of course,
especially
we'll
well,
talk
right?
about Viking honey
Yeah.
because that's, it's all wild crafted, of course. But I have friends who used to have to get shots in their ass for allergies and don't anymore.
Because they're eating your honey.
Yeah, with some, eating some honey. Feel free to pipe up, Wester, with comments and stuff. I'm curious where this is going.
Yeah, it says any native bees that produce honey.
No. I mean, they're
Not in
technically,
the States. Not in the States.
Not
Or
in the
not in the
States.
Americas.
Well, there was, and there still is actually, in Costa Rica and Panama, a stingless honeybee.
Oh, wow.
All right, most people don't know this, and it really doesn't apply to the conversation. Because stinging honeybees, in fact, when Europeans first showed up with honeybees in the Western Hemisphere, Native Americans hated them so much, they called them white man's flies, and that was the nice ones. So in Latin America, in Costa Rica and Panama, there were what are called stingless honeybees. And I don't even know the Latin for them, because there are so few of them, and there weren't many to begin with. But they don't sting, but they bite, like really hard. And so when it comes to getting wild honey, you can't win, of course. They don't make very much honey, very little, and it's in very convoluted comb. And so they're not like no one would even keep them. It was more of a found. I hear that now some people are trying to keep them because they're native to the Western Hemisphere. So technically, stinging honeybees are invasive. There are stingless honeybees in the Western, but only in jungle conditions like that. In Costa Rica and Panama, I don't even know if they're down into South America. They might be. I do not know. But they're not here, not at north of Central America. And so technically, but honeybees, for all intents and purposes, are invasive to the Western Hemisphere. Stinging honeybees, European honeybees, invasive to the Western Hemisphere. Now,
I kind of wanted to go back to what you were saying earlier about beekeeping in Brazil and Central America, where the professionals are keeping Africanized
absolutely.
bees.
Here too,
Beekeep-
if they're not too hot.
Beekeeping at that level, in the bee boxes, etc.,
Yeah, beehives, yeah.
it's still a whole different thing than feral hives.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. So we got three basic situations. You got your big guys, the professionals. They're great. They know what they're doing. It's a business. They're like farmers, is what they are. And then you get your hobbyists. Those are the ones that really scare us because
Well, bees going bad.
bees gone bad.
They're
Because and you can requeen your damned hive. Requeening is where if you've got a hot hive, and the queen is the heart and soul of the matter. So you've got a hot hive, and you want to get rid of her, but you want to keep your hive. You want to have nice bees. So you buy a queen. You can buy them, of course you can. It's not cheap. They're European queens. They've been mated with a European drone. They're going to start laying European eggs. And you kill your old queen, the queen that's producing mean bees. You kill her. You go in and find her and kill her. We never see a queen bee, because when we're in the middle of war, like you've seen, we got 100,000, 200,000 of them trying to kill us. We're not going to look for one. It's not going to happen. Here, hold this while I spend an hour looking for the one. They're all over the damn place. So you kill that queen bee, and you get your new bee in there, and you put her into a little cage that has a plug of sugared honey in it, actually, candied honey. And because if you were to put her in that hive just raw right off the bat out of the package, she smells different, and they'd kill her. Every hive is an enemy of every other hive. And so when bees visit from their hive to another hive, the only reason that worker bees do that is to steal honey. That's it. So to get them used to her smell, and vice versa, they have to eat through this plug on her cage, and after about 2 or 3 days, when they chew through that, then they'll accept her, the new queen, into the hive. And so then she'll start laying nice eggs, and in 3 weeks, then you have a nice hive again.
For now.
Yeah, exactly. It's a temporary fix. Because
especially if when all the bees in the area.
Then we get onto the unmanaged feral hives.
Unmanaged feral hives. She goes up for her mating flight.
Yep.
And the Africanized bees are going to catch her every time.
That's right. When a new queen in an old hive goes on a mating flight, there is no boudoir in in the hive. There is no sex in the hive. There's no bathroom in the hive either. Bees would rather die than shit in the hive. Literally, they would rather die. So when your hive swarms, nature's way of propagating their bees. You have a new virgin queen in your old hive. She has to go on a mating flight. And sure as shit, Africanized drones are much, much better at catching up with her and mating with her. And then she comes back, your nice virgin European queen that's just mated with Africanized drones, and comes back and starts laying Africanized eggs. And in 3 weeks, you're gone right back to shit, and you got a mean old hive again, which is what happened with Bees Gone Bad up the gulch. It was either that or, because this gal, third generation beekeeper, but this is why it's out the window now as far as amateur or hobbyist beekeepers, is they maybe used to know everything about European honeybees. They don't know shit about these Africanized bees. All right, they are honeybees. They look the same and everything, genetically different. So your nice hive goes bad. Now the way that we think that it happened with Bees Gone Bad up the gulch was, it's called World War B. Anyway. So it's where you have a stronger Africanized hive in the neighborhood, and they are Vikings. The only reason, like I was saying, that they visit each other is to steal honey. You will have a stronger Africanized hive from somewhere, usually about a mile radius or closer, come into a weaker Africanized hive or a European hive, and kill everybody. I mean, World War B. They literally sting each other. They'll kill everybody and kill the babies to death through the caps on the cells, and either steal all the honey and go home, or much, much worse, move in. Well then, in 2 or 3 hours, your nice hive's gone to shit. So requeening is a total temporary fix. Wherever feral unmanaged hives exist in the country now, European or Africanized, because in a very short period of time, I've given it 10 years graciously, I think it's more like 4 or 5, where all of the unmanaged feral hives in the country will be Africanized. Because they're already there. They're in all the lower 48 states. Anybody out there, where are you guys from? Give us the states that you're from. And if you've heard anything about Africanization in your states, I'm curious as hell. Because they're in all the lower 48 states. They killed a beekeeper in Connecticut. Have you got anything coming away?
Oh no, you're getting a lot of love for not sugarcoating shit, which is awesome.
Thank you. That really is awesome. Yeah.
We got someone from California. We got Florida, Alabama.
Definitely.
Now the third, while comments are coming in, the third hive possibility that you're talking about is what we deal with every day, and that's your feral unmanaged hives.
Yeah. Under the shed, in that old tire out in Bumfuck.
In the tree, in the toppled-down cottonwood tree in your backyard.
Right. We had that one, the horse trailer bees.
Oh yeah.
Down there, where we actually had to, and we do this. We service the whole county, and we do this for all the ranchers and I mean Homeland Security and everybody. We got a good one here. What happened?
No sound.
Oh, we got no sound. Do you want to go take a peek at it? See what's going on?
Yeah. This thing.
Hold on a minute, guys.
Yeah. So you just pull that out of there.
Actually, just pull that out for now.
Yep. Then we'll just have to. Can you get it? Yeah.
All right, there we go. Sorry about that, guys.
Little blip in the radar. I'm training.
Tech shit. Yeah, so anyway. And we got no wind. We're inside, fireside chat. Thank you guys so much for coming along. We really have a lot of fun having you guys along. Little fireside chat. It's still cold outside. The sun is shining. It's supposed to be in the 60s today. So it will be a beautiful day, and we'll get a bunch of shit done. But for now, we thought we'd just, have you guys along and answer some questions. What do we got, Westford?
So we got people coming from different states, Canada, Minnesota.
Minnesota. They're in Minnesota for sure. They've been found in Madison. They killed a beekeeper in Connecticut, like I said. Minnesota, Canada, Alberta.
Yeah.
Alberta.
Multiple beekeepers from Alberta that are telling us. Now,
Yes.
there's a myth, and we saw a well-intended beekeeper. We like this guy, but a well-intended beekeeper on TikTok the other day said about Africanized bees, and this is misinformation, that they can't live where it's cold.
Right.
It's not true.
I did a whole show on History Channel, Monster Quest. You guys remember Monster Quest? It was adorable because that Monster Quest was a lot of fun. They were always looking for the Loch Ness Monster and fucking Sasquatch.
And they found the Loch Ness, right?
Yeah, well, they and Sasquatch actually. They found those, but they, that wasn't enough. No, they had to look for killer bees. Anyway, they did this whole show with me, and it was called Giant Killer Bees. You can look it up. And the whole purpose of that Monster Quest was to dispel the myth that killer bees cannot live cold, cannot live where it's cold. Well, they can't. Because we went all over the southwest.
And you found them at 14,000 feet,
Well,
right?
13,000 feet, I think was the highest, 13,000 feet. And up north, up at, above Flagstaff, where the ski slopes where it gets 30 below. Actually, no matter where we went, and whether we got managed hives, managed bees from managed hives, or feral in that region, wherever it was, wherever we went, sent them all back to Tucson to the laboratories for testing a percentage of that was 100%.
So wait, you were sending bees from bee boxes?
Oh yeah, also, yeah, because they
And they were Africanized.
and they were Africanized, much to the surprise of some of the
The
beekeepers that
chagrin.
chagrin. They weren't that bad at that point, but that doesn't mean they won't be.
Right.
That's the problem. Can't trust them.
Right.
So,
Well, and all it takes is one mating flight off from being
right, exactly.
completely psychopathic, nuclear, and
That's
homicidal.
right. One mating. Yep. Yeah, and they hitchhike also. Somebody said, well, they're not in England yet, and somebody actually commented, a fan commented, and said just one container ship away
One shipping.
because they hitchhike. It's kind of scary actually,
Well,
but
they love connexes.
so oh my God, they live underneath the Conexes, the storage roll-offs. Oh my God, we do them 5 or 6 a week in the summer. They love living under them damn things. But what else we got going on, Western?
Somebody asked earlier when we were talking about honey, how they make the wax.
Oh, that's a really good question, and it's really science fiction. I'll tell you everything about these damn things. It is. Okay, when bees, they actually make the wax out of their own bodies. They distill honey in their bodies to create the wax. So they have to eat about 7 pounds of their own honey to make 1 pound of wax.
Wow.
Now it's total sci-fi to me. I'm sure that the entomologists and scientists know how this happens within the body of the bee, but I have watched it happen where they actually will hang like chainmail all over their legs, like 1,000 bees. Like chainmail, literally, like a single sheet of chainmail. It's just cooler than hell. Very still, extremely still. And from the platelets on the abdomen, these little clear 6-sided platelets of wax will emerge, will ooze out. And they will take those into their mandibles, because they have both mandibles and a proboscis, and masticate them, chew them up, soften them up, and to start forming them into the 6-sided cells that we know of as the honey cells, the honeycomb. And each one of the 6-sided cells in the honeycomb is a canning jar for bees. Literally. They will use it over and over and over again over the years, decades. That's how we can kind of tell an older, how old the comb is by how dark it is. Because when they first make it, it's clear, but when they masticate it and start making the cells, it's white, pure white, like a t-shirt. And then as they use it, it gets stained from propolis and pollen and use. And so black, a comb like you see in Bring Down the House, that old comb. In fact, that's up on YouTube also. You guys want to see the full-length version, Bring Down the House? That was an awesome vid also. The bees, Bringing Down the House. Okay, the roof had fallen in on this place, and the comb was like, 8 feet long, hanging off of the... It was a horrifying thing. It was just horrifying. We were afraid the damn roof was going to fall in and on us at any point, because we're scraping away in there.
Now, it reminds me actually of this wild hive that we found the other day inside this house.
Yeah.
We didn't just find this hive behind this wall, but there had been multiple hives inside that place
hanging out
prior to this.
Yeah, you could see, what was it, like an 8-foot section?
Oh, it was huge. The whole wall was covered with the skeletons.
Old skeletons of old comb. Yeah, the wild hives are everywhere. So that's one way that we hunt wild hives. Well, before I go on to that, is there anything else, Westbrook, what we got?
Someone wants to know if they have a fogger that would work.
A fogger?
To keep the bees away or to kill them. It says, if you're in a tight spot, do they have a fogger that would work?
Well, I mean, the problem with a fogger, in fact, with the Africanized bees, we're going to use a smoker. I've used a smoker for 12, 13 years. They just don't care, On a fogger, are you talking pesticide? Yeah, because, no. I mean, especially if you're in that area. I have pared this down, whittled it down over 30 years of doing this to the least amount of equipment to trip over in the field as possible, and still the effective way to do this out in the middle of bumfuck or in an urban area or whatever. This is why we use the spray adhesive. This is why we don't have shop vacs. But all this equipment to drag hoses and equipment to trip over, I've fallen off ladders because I had too much shit, cords or whatever wrapped around.
Yeah, and we can get in when we're not filming. We can get in and out of a big job in under an hour.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
I mean, when we're filming, it slows everything down.
Of course, of course. And if we're in the middle of nowhere, that's wonderful and it works great for educational. We can tell everybody what's going on, bring you with us. You know, we're in the zoos. You can hear them. It's so much fun because I'll have so many people say, I had to rip my earbuds out.
Yeah.
Because of the bees. Yeah. They're, you know, and I always just put, you know, in the comments, it's like, much worse in person. Much worse than the bee suit, you know, or better.
I love it.
Depending on how psycho you are. So anyway.
Yeah, we don't want people going out to take care of bees themselves, like with a fogger or anything.
Oh, no, don't try this at home. No, on YouTube I do have a DIY series. Yeah, that's right. just for these people. Yeah, it's called DIY Dumbass. Don't try this at home. You will get killed.
People die.
People die. People die every day.
Hey,
and somewhere in the world, in the Western Hemisphere, people die every single day.
I had a buddy of mine go out and do it a couple months back.
Oh, right.
I don't know what he was thinking because he actually was allergic.
He's allergic.
But
he got stung up.
But he went out and
his dog got stung up.
He pulled it off, but he's lucky he didn't.
Playing with the devil. Playing with the devil. Lucky he didn't kill his dog. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad he didn't die, but also.
Dumbass. I mean, it's a lot cheaper to buy honey. What do we got, Westford?
When someone hears the bees on the videos, it makes their skin randomly itch as if they're on them.
Fascinating.
You're welcome.
Try being in there.
You're welcome. And you're right. It is that. Yeah, well, exciting.
And someone wants to know what is a murder hornet.
Murder hornets are awesome. Of course, you don't want to get stung by them either, because one will kill you, right?
What's this thing in?
Yeah, I do not know. I've had two Japanese people tell me a couple of different things. All right, now tell me if you guys can see that or not. How does that look through the lens, Westward?
Gotta turn it a little bit.
It's in there. See if you guys can see that or not. They're huge. Anybody can see that on both TikTok and YouTube?
There's the face. Look at that face.
Okay, but I know, thank you. But how does the
Oh, there you go. Look? There's the proper face.
Yeah.
Oh, proper face. That's not mine. That's for Dan Crew. So anyway, the premise of the show was
a huge hornet.
Murder hornets versus killer bees, and Susumu was the guy that came over. He was their bee expert, and they had their own film crew. He even sent his equipment over from Japan in boxes because he made his own suit. He had a special lens for his face, a special protective thing because they spit venom that can blind you. Now, he and the crew, we had a Japanese translator because I don't speak Japanese, and so the whole premise of the show was murder hornets versus killer bees, and his experience with the murder hornets is what brought this all about. And it was a show in Japan called Samurai Busters, and it was like a Mythbusters, I think, over there. A big hit. And so they, I had these guys for a week. I had the crew of 4 with Susumu and the translator. And so after one day in the bee suits fighting killer bees, I mean, the cameraman almost got killed. I will explain that in a second. After one day, though, he looked at his director and in Japanese said, it's his show.
Now, you were telling me there's, we get this a lot. Hey, why don't you guys use the suits that they use for the murder hornets?
Right.
And they've got those fans.
Well, yeah, the suits were made, the murder hornets are this big. Okay, now granted, there's 3,000 of them in a nest. Holy shit, right? They're not as fast. They're kind of like lumbering. They're like
wasps.
Yeah, only huge. And so, yeah, lumbering like wasps. Whereas, as you've seen, the Africanized bees are like a million miles an hour. They spit venom. It's a whole different animal, a whole different suit that was made. His suit, his equipment was totally inadequate for Africanized bees.
Well, the bees were getting in through those
They got in through his
fans.
suit. Well,
Yeah.
that was one problem, and they stung up everybody that had. He had these,
Everybody wearing those suits
everybody
got
had.
stung.
He had these fans on his suit. 12-volt fans were really smart to stay cool, so that he could stay cool. These, well, of course, Africanized bees went right in. And it was like that was adorable. They ended up using our old beat-up bee suits for the rest of the week that we survived in and live in. Right. The problem was there. The cameraman had just a regular net, and we were up between here and Douglas in a man lift, and we had a big man lift. We had like 6 of us in there. Film crew, Susumo, I. The bees were about 20 feet up in the soffit, an old piece of shit falling down soffit, and the camera guy's net got caught on a nail, and it opened it up like a zipper.
Oh,
Dang.
Holy fuck! What a nightmare! And all of a sudden, I heard, "Hata." No, that's not direct translation. That's my stupid way.
Wait, so he's up in the bucket.
He's in the bucket with the camera, and all of a sudden, his face is covered in killer bees. The poor guy. Oh, it was a total. I looked over at Scotty and I said, "Scotty, take me down," instead of being, because Scotty was operating the backhoe actually, or whatever. We had the man lift on, so we go down, and he's like, getting attacked, and we're all strapped in. We have our harnesses on with our lanyards. And so we get about 2 feet off the ground, and he's just getting totally fucked. And he jumped out the 2 feet to run to the van, and I was going to go hop in with him and help him. But he forgot he had a lanyard on. And so he jumped out and got about 3 feet away and was running for the van and went, as he forgot, was that good? Was that good? Everybody like that?
That was nice. Instant replay.
That was super slow. Anyway, it was super painful. That poor guy undid the lanyard. He went to the truck, and I got in with him because I played medic and everything at that point. He got a bunch of stings. He was such a trooper. The next day, after a few shots of single malt scotch that night at the Copper Queen bar, he was right back in the saddle. The next day, we went out and finished it up.
Did he swell up?
Oh yeah, he was swelled up and whatnot. But these camera guys, these professional camera guys, they have to. If they get chased by a polar bear, they still have to do it.
Get the shot.
Get the shot, And so every time I've been on a shoot, this is the only time a cameraman's almost gotten killed with me. It's a rough shoot when pros come out and follow me around.
Well, even with Miss Cat does it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we make it look easy. It's not. It's not. Yeah. I mean, Hosh makes it look easy.
And I'll tell you one of the interesting things too about all of this is that you don't develop an immunity to the bee venom.
Oh God, no. Well, there's 2 schools of thought on that. All right. There's some. I believe some people do. And the analogy that I use is some people are born allergic to nuts, say peanuts, okay? Some people are born deathly allergic to them and never get over it. Well, some people are born deathly allergic to peanuts and get over it. And then there's people that are born just fine, can eat all the nuts in the world, and then become allergic.
So the story about there was a guy that for a little while was riding shotgun with you. And he'd been stung a number of times.
Hundreds and hundreds. Worked with me for years.
Been stung,
2 guys, actually.
Stung a number of times.
Yeah. And then
no big deal. And then one day.
One sting.
Yeah. So
one sting.
The fact
and he looked at me and said, "I don't
allergic.
feel well. I don't feel well." And then he started turning blue. And so Oh man, of course, I called 911 and had them heading out with the ambulance and whatnot because it happened to be near here, somewhere close by. Anyway, I got her an EpiPen, and he was laying in the truck and he was not feeling good at all, and I jabbed him in the leg with the EpiPen. And now he didn't have a lot on him like I don't, and I should have jabbed him in the ass, I guess, because I jabbed him in the leg so hard it hit his bone. And it bent the needle. Oh my God. I jabbed him. I think it saved his life.
You were excited.
Oh,
Everyone was excited.
well, you're not going to die on my watch, bitch.
Right.
You know, you're going to come
Right.
out of this shit. And so, hammer, I don't know, wake up, bitch. And so I jabbed him, and his eyes got big, and he went, ow, you fuck, I'm going to kill you. It's just like I punched him at the bar or something. It was fucking funnier than hell. And I think it saved his life, actually. And I pulled the needle out, and I went, it was like a, 45, and I went, sorry.
Yeah.
And then, of course, I looked, it was way out of expiration and everything. I think it saved his life, though.
Right,
He's
right.
fine. He's here today. He carries an EpiPen with him.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But this guy worked for years, got stung hundreds of times.
Just
and
back
then,
to that point.
And then one
That
day
one
he
time.
gets stung and starts closing up.
That's closing up. No, I've been stung thousands of times, just not all at once.
Right.
And so, that's why whenever we have a crew with us, or even emergency personnel, or a film crew, or just us, before every job, if anybody gets stung, tell me where, and immediately that you did get stung, and also where on your body, because neck and head and torso, much worse, of course, closer to all the organs and everything.
Yeah.
Extremities, not so bad. Also, is there a huge difference? Is it through the suit, or is it in your neck? We know all about that shit, the little girl scream.
Yeah.
And
So
so,
I'll tell.
Yeah.
I'll tell him the story. This was pretty interesting, actually. And I told Reed, I kind of felt like it was a bit of a merit badge. After that job we did recently, where we went, what was that job? It was down in my neighborhood.
the Kentucky Killer.
Kentucky Killers.
Right.
So
it was 25 degrees, right?
Yeah, it was a cold morning. It had frozen the night before, and we got out and we cut this thing down. We brought everybody along for a live stream.
Yeah.
Well, after we finished that job up, I actually got in my vehicle. We had taken 2 different cars to the job because it was just in my neighborhood, and then we were going to come up here to the ranch and continue. So I get in my vehicle, and I've got to stop and get gas. And I quickly realized, and I don't know how this happened, but I quickly realized as I was driving towards the gas station, it's about 2 miles away.
Yeah,
something
couple
like
miles,
that. Couple
yeah.
miles up Naco Highway.
So he's on the road in the suit, which
And-
happens a lot.
And I've got to be inside my hood, buzzing around while I'm driving. Buzzing around in there. And,
Now, it must have been a really slow beat because, normally when they get
it
in
was cold.
cold, it was a dumb one. When
Yeah.
they get into your net, they're looking to kill you.
Yeah.
And here's this one flying back where he told me about it because I'm in the fire truck doing something else. And he said, well, it kept going back and forth. And all I could think of was, you must have heard it going, he's here somewhere. I know he's here. Where the fuck is Hosh? I'm going to kill him.
Yeah.
Where is it? And it's inside your damn, it was a slow beat.
Yeah. Yeah,
Special needs.
apparently.
Yeah.
But
But you didn't get stung.
I didn't get stung. I drove to the gas station with this thing flying around in me, and got out, and I decided, I'm going to go ahead and get the gas going.
Yeah.
So I put in my card, started pumping the gasoline, put it on automatic so it would just pump the gas, and then I got out of the bee suit, and I managed to not get stung.
There's a first for everything and a last.
Yeah. Well, we'll see.
Yeah.
But I think probably this bee season, I think conservatively speaking, I've probably been stung 50 times.
Oh, it's conservative.
50
You mean
times.
on that one job?
And I'm conservative.
On that one.
But-
Portal to hell, he got stung a shitload.
Right,
20
yeah, there was
times.
half my stings came
Well,
forward.
I've got one job. Yeah, portal to
Yeah.
hell. Yeah, it was horrible.
Yeah.
What do we got, Westport? Somebody must be excited to see us.
Yeah, some people are joining and they're just talking about Hosh's lip. Did you get stung in the lip?
I did.
Oh, you good.
Someone said
that
to me
was-
or
Oh,
someone
Westport
was
hasn't seen that.
Perfect example, okay? So
Let's
so
do it again, let's do it again.
Let's say I've gotten 49 other stings, but one sting right there made me swell up.
Oh,
No.
I mean like
Yeah.
Betox gone wrong.
Yeah.
It
was
looked,
beautiful.
you look like half the
It was beautiful.
Kardashians.
Somebody said you must have been upset. I was overjoyed. It was lovely. It
Oh
didn't
my
hurt.
God! When he came up, and it was here at the ranch. He wouldn't. The bee didn't even mean it. You were eating
No,
honeycomb
it's-
down in the commercial kitchen, and he didn't, honeycomb. And he said, and this bee just came over and kind of got tangled in my mustache, and all of a sudden stung me. And he came up, and it was out a little bit, and he said, it's swelling. And I said, get the camera. And in just a few minutes, it kept going, and it kept. We live streamed it, and I swear to God, half that live stream was just me laughing my ass off, because all of a sudden it was Hosh going like this.
That's a true friend. Get the camera. You're swelling.
Okay.
No, for
What are
real.
you gonna do? What are you gonna say?
That's brotherhood stuff right
I'll
there.
tell
I
you
love
what
it.
was interesting too about that was that I was swollen like this, and I think you must have wanted to show me off around town or something, because you're like, let's go get lunch.
Oh, everywhere. Oh, whatever.
And we went down to Cornucopia.
You could have set a plate on that
and
fucking upper lip.
and we did. But I got a grilled cheese sandwich, and as I started eating the grilled cheese sandwich, the swelling arrested.
Yeah, stop.
It stopped.
So that was the downside.
It was the downside. It was interesting though that it stopped.
Yeah. Well, but then you said, was it the next morning that you did some geekung?
Oh yeah.
Or that night you did?
Yeah.
Hosh teaches geekung here in
Yeah.
Bisbee and does standing every day.
Yeah, I was doing my standing practice
Yeah.
that morning or late that night, and I could literally feel as I was standing
Right.
the lip coming back down.
Receding. Yeah. More bad news.
Yeah.
I think that's Be Gone.
Huh?
Be
Be
gone.
gone.
Be gone.
Well, I pronounce it be gone. Go on, get.
It worked. But I thought that it was interesting that eating after getting stung
Yeah.
started making that swelling go down. Because remember, any kind of swelling like that is an overreaction
That's
by
correct.
the body.
It's
You're
producing too much histamine to counter, or antihistamine to counteract the production of histamine in your body. And so, but by eating, it took all that attention and energy into your stomach area.
I wanted to digest the grilled cheese.
Digest the grilled cheese immediately right now.
Yeah.
Do it in front of me. And so we have not only bee kung, but we've done tai chi bee too.
Chibi,
Oh.
yeah, beach one.
Beach. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Kung bee. Okay, never mind anyway. So on that note, if you guys, on that note has nothing to do with it. If you guys want to buy some honey, go to killerbeeguy.com. We got a holiday special. I know I don't tout the business enough and all that shit, but we love talking to you guys and having you along. Go to killerbeeguy.com and type in KBG1, the number 1, and you get 20% off your order for the holidays. What else we got going on, Westford?
YouTube. Check out the full-length videos.
Oh, you gotta go to
Feature-length videos on YouTube.
Okay. Yeah, go to YouTube.
Yeah.
So we're going to wrap it up here, guys. Thank you so much for coming along. Hosh here and Reed Booth, Westward on camera. You want to come around and say hi? Of course she does. Get over here. Yeah. There's Westward. So we'll be doing more of this. We've got some more live streams coming up. We never know what kind of calls we're going to get. We're on call. We rescue the fire department from these damn things. But we love you guys. Thank you so much for coming along. You want to go ahead and get up and show her how to turn that off?
Sure, yep.
All right, we'll see you guys later.
Have a great
Thanks
day,
again
guys.
for coming along. We will talk to you all very soon. Try to beehive yourselves, please. And don't just buzz off.
Did you see that? Yeah. And I'm here.